Hey, folks, welcome to another episode of On the Line. We've been gone for 2 weeks, but not because we weren't recording, because the ghost was living in my Verizon connection and was ruining two podcast episodes. But those are on the cutting room floor, almost done. The miracle of AI will fix them. But anyway, we're watching my door in the back in case it opens on its own, and it's not the
Ghost
cat.
of AI is definitely better than the ghost of your door.
So, Jonathan, we're going to be talking today about pre-season hunting prep, pre-hunting season prep. In other words, the panic that is currently setting through everyone because it's now August, it's mid-August, it's past mid-August, and you're already seeing it in the shop, right?
Oh, it's absolutely insane.
Okay, so in PA, what's opening day over there? What's the first day that they can actually go out with the bow?
October 3rd.
October 3rd. Okay. Here in New York, it's October 1st. In New Jersey, it starts, I believe, mid-September, something like that. So everybody's panicking right now. The archery range outdoors is loaded with people. Everybody's out there last minute doing their thing. And the shops are being flooded right now.
Yep.
People, I tell you every time, don't wait for the last minute, because whatever you think is not wrong is probably wrong with your setup. And no one can tell you better about that than Jonathan can. So what have you seen so far this week?
Well, heck, just Sunday alone, I have guys that are coming in that either drives me crazy. They got a bow for Christmas last Christmas.
They're
And
setting
they're
up
setting
now?
up now.
Oh boy.
Just tune-ups, new strings, new just everything.
Okay. So they're looking for tune-ups, new strings. They've never used a bow before.
Yep.
Any of them have the wrong size bow that they can't adjust or anything like that? You don't really see that too much anymore unless it's a Matthews or something like that you have to change mods on.
No, not really. Even the Matthews, my shop, we've got so many mods for those bows, it's ridiculous.
Because people are lucky that you actually stock them.
Yes.
A lot of shops don't. A lot of shops like, we got to order it for you. Yep. And if you try to order this time of year, it could be a week, could be 2 weeks, could be even longer, depending on what particular mod you're looking for.
That's particular for strings too. Like,
well, strings is the worst time right now.
It's absolutely crazy. People come in, they're like, "Hey, we need a string," and I'm like, "Okay, well, you call gas right now. It's like 3-4 weeks
at the earliest."
Yes,
that's the problem. During the summertime, if no one's ordering anything, there's no big competitions going on, they'll tell you a week or two they got to turn around to shipping time. So that's when it actually hits the shipping. Right now, you're looking at 3 or 4 weeks before shipping even gets to that, where they're printing out a label for you. So then you got to figure out the rush. You got to figure out the U.S. mail. Good luck. And see how that's all going to show up. And you don't always get your package on time if you even get it at all. But right now is the worst time to do this. That's why we kind of tell you, do it earlier in the year. This is not the time that you want to be doing it.
Yep.
But what we're going to be talking about today is something that people ask me all the time. What do I do? What do I recommend they do for pre-season to get ready? Your pre-season should have started back in May or June, honestly. August is the wrong time. But if you have to do it now, the first thing that you're going to see people do is settle into the panic of, is my bow even in one piece? And if you're the type who put away your bow last October and haven't looked at it since, I'd be worrying about that first. So I'd go and have it checked. The problem is you might be waiting for a while, because if you walk into Jonathan's shop on the wrong day of the week, like he told me today, he had 5 cars sitting there and they weren't his staff. And that was before he opened. And in an archery shop, it's not like a bagel shop. You go in there, each person might take 15 or 20 minutes at the lowest to get them done. Sometimes it's a lot more. Or if they're buying a bow, people don't like making a snap decision in 10 minutes. So they're paying money. They want to get what they want. And Jonathan is going to work with them as long as it takes to get them into something that they feel comfortable with. So you can't rush that sort of thing. Now, a lot of people, and this is nothing against Lancaster, But a lot of people will tell me, "Oh, I'll just go to Lancaster. They're bigger than anybody else." They're a shop like anybody else. Matter of fact, it's more insane if you go over there.
It is.
They might tell you come back in 2 weeks. You don't know. And if you're looking for something major, not a good thing to do. So
Heck, if you just want to talk to a tech, you
yeah,
have to literally sign in
sign
and
in, register. Yeah, get a number.
register, put your name in there, and just like at the deli, they will call your number, but it might be a half hour before you get
If you're
your
lucky.
called. If you're lucky. This time of year, try 45 minutes, hour.
And the closer we get to September, the longer that's going to be. And because they're closed on Sundays, Saturday is not the day to go there. It's absolute pandemonium, and it's going to be insane. Same goes for pretty much every other shop this time of year. So my suggestion is look at the bow. Use some common sense. If you draw it back, do you hear anything funny? Do the strings look okay to you? Is your peep lined up as close as it can possibly be? Is your D-loop frayed? Does the D-loop look funny? Is the D-loop not even tied on? These are things you got to look at. Then just look at your rest. Does it look normal? If it's a drop away rest, is it snapping? Is it able to move? If it's a fall away rest, is it all the way down? Because they come up when you draw back.
Or is it timed properly? If it's not timed properly, it's not dropping away properly.
The best way to find out is just to rip a couple of shots through there and see how they feel. See if you see anything weird. Does it hit the mark? I will tell everyone who's listening to this that if you leave a bow sitting for a long time, your marks are not going to be the same when you pick it up again. Things are going to stretch. Things are not going to... Stretch is a bad word. They elongate. Because once they stretch, they ain't coming back. So your marks are going to be a little bit off. Just don't assume, even if we made you a precision cut tape at one point or another, if you let that sucker sit there for a while, that it's going to come back. But while I'm on the subject, precision cut is the easiest way to get a sight tape going for yourself. And like we've done a couple of times this year already, the next, shall we say, event, the next gift, the next showing of mercy that we're going to do will be on the 30th, and we'll be doing the precision cut over there, and you all can come down. We'll get your sight tapes made and get it all set. I'll be down at the shop. It'll be a Sunday, not a Saturday, and I'll be down there from when they open till about 3 o'clock or something like that. So if you're going to come down, call ahead, let them know, so we have an idea of how many people we're going to get. Because precision cut is fast, but what's time consuming is getting all your measurements and actually getting you to shoot through the chronograph the right way, because we use a lab radar, and then retrieving and making sure that we get you and you weren't holding forever or something like that, because it all throws the speed marks off. Then once it's done, then we just got to print you out, enter your numbers, done. But you try doing that with like 20 or 30 people, it's going to take a couple hours to do that.
Yes.
Because the last time I think we did 10 or 12, whatever it was, and it still took a little while because we were measuring and doing everything else and running back and forth. And when one of us is out there and we're having you shoot again, with the lab radar, if we see you doing something wrong, we're going to have you shoot again, because I don't want marks that don't make any kind of sense. And we want you to use the right pin. And we want you to do proper follow through and all that, so that we can get the right speeds being generated out of the bow, because the less accurate you are, the more problems there's going to be with the tape. But so far, would you say it's probably the easiest way for people to get sighted in with their bows as far as height distance goes?
Definitely.
It's the quickest, because if you do it the way I used to do it years ago, you're a couple of days out there just making off marks and seeing if everything looks right. This way, with a couple of measurements and a couple of shots, your tape is pretty much on the money, and the rest is all up to you. From there, your form matters, and the only thing you got to get together is your 20-yard mark. Once you have your 20-yard mark, you can put the tape on there and match it on 20, and I'm going to say 99% of the time, it's spot on. There's nothing wrong with it. Unless something...
Basically, what he's saying is, if your bow doesn't fit you, we'll fit it to you. If your form is wrong, we will work with you on form, on top of doing the whole precision cut archery and all that stuff. So
yeah, if we see something obviously not right, we'll fix it. Like I said, right before hunting season, you don't want to make major changes. So we try to work with what you got. Now is not the time for you to come in and say, I want to switch to this type of release. Yeah, no, you're not doing that. We're going to take what you got, make it work, and then you're good to go. Nothing to worry about. But still, the biggest thing is going to be you and your practice and how you get ready. And if you can put in the time to practice, everything's going to work out just fine. But practice, let's just start there. When people come into you, what do you see as being their idea of practice? Because believe me, what I hear is people's idea of practice, I kind of almost laugh and fall off a bench about. So what is their idea of practice when they come to you?
Their idea of practice is, shooting 20 yards, 100, 200 shots, just ripping it out. And or saying they have target panic and they need to blind bail to get rid of target panic, and just a bunch of things that aren't necessary. Yes, you want to practice 20 yards. Yes, you want to do blind bail. Um, that's but blind bail is not to fix target panic. That is strictly to
Form. That's all it is.
fix your form. Not even fix your form. Just solidify your form. And yes, I do minimum 100 shots a day, but most of it is at 5-10 yards, and it's for my form, not to get the bow just right. Because guess what, my bow's already where it needs to be. Shooting, and I'm not ripping out just 100 shots. I'm doing 20 here, hour later, maybe another 20, so on. Right, I fit what I can into the day. Because at a certain point, you are literally just working off of exhaustion.
Exactly.
You're just training your fatigue. That's all you're doing at a certain point. Think about how we work out, right? We work out. If you work out, you do multiple sets. You're not just doing 500 push-ups. You're doing 20, 30, 40, 50, taking a 5-minute break, doing it again. It's the same idea. Yeah.
What I tend to find is the biggest problem, and this goes with any type of practice, but especially before hunting season, is people who do exactly what you said. They rip off 100, 150 shots for the sake of ripping off 100 or 150 shots. In the meantime, I would rather you shot 15 or 20 shots with absolute perfect concentration, concentrating on everything, than rip off 150 shots that are so random that you don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
It's always quality over quantity, which brings me to my next point. If you're going to practice, right, you've got to practice and actually put the time into grouping the smallest amount of arrows you possibly can. And there's a reason why I'm saying this. How many people do you see go down to the range with 10 arrows in their quiver and they shoot a group and they see it like this, like, oh, look at that, I got them all in the middle. You got a group this big with 10 arrows. Sounds great. It's not. I take that same person, I say 3 arrows, shoot them, and the group's this big.
Mm-hmm.
Because you shoot a lot of arrows, it looks like they're closer. But you shoot 3 arrows, you see the real pattern that comes out. So max 3 to 4 arrows, retrieve, come back. 3 to 4 arrows, retrieve, come back. Because if you shoot a lot of arrows, you're going to be misled into believing that you're doing better than you actually are. I see that with single spot shooters. I see that with 3-spot shooters. The best is when I see a 3-spot shooter shooting 3 arrows into each of the 3 spots. It's like when they're practicing for Vegas. So I'm like, do you have any idea? No, but look, I obliterated the 10. Like, after you took 10 shots at it, I mean, really? So it's Some people do it and they don't realize it, that it's like a mental thing. They feel better if they do it because they see it all like crowded in there. But the fact is, if it took you 10 shots to fill in the 10 ring and the 10 ring's only that big, that's a problem to begin with. The other thing I'm going to say is you've got to practice practically. Now, we covered this in the 2 episodes that are going to be uploaded this week with this one. The bits and pieces of those episodes, do not get me started. It was a rough time. But you have to practice shooting at something that is similar or at least simulates what you're going to be shooting at. So if you're going to be shooting at deer, they don't walk around with targets on their sides. A 3D target that has no markings, in other words, not a trail shoot target that has a big orange dot on it, a safari target, as we call those, you don't want to shoot at those. Shoot at a real deer target, not a real deer. A real deer target. A real deer target, okay? I know some people, I can go practice on deer. I did not say that. For the record, I did not say shoot at real deer during the off-season.
Don't get us in trouble.
You're going to jail, not me. I'm just telling you, I cleared it. Waiver, disclaimer, whatever you want to call it. What I'm saying is, if you're shooting at something that has no rings, no bullseye on it, practice on something that has no rings and no bullseye. Get a blank piece of paper, put it down range, shoot, and see if you can get it in the middle. Because that means that you're focusing properly, and that's important.
Mm-hmm.
What would you have people do as a simple practice routine?
Yeah, same thing. If you can go to a butcher and get some butcher paper.
Yep. Perfect.
Pretty much the same color as a deer, especially if you have a white bale. Don't do a white piece of paper because you're gonna be like, wait, where is the target? I don't know. But yeah, you could do a piece of butcher paper, and try to aim for the center of that spot, or say I'm gonna hit 3 inches and low and right of the corner, whatever, and just start call your shots and be brutally honest about it. And if you don't hit it, it's okay. Just definitely don't be like, oh yeah, it's close enough. I said it way too much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's a dead deer. Sorry, if most of your shots are if you're shooting at a target and most of your shots are in what would be the red, not good enough as far as I'm concerned. But that's me.
Now, you touched on 2 things that I'm going to get into. The first one is the butcher paper, okay? We all know that people also use butcher paper for paper tuning, okay? What I would suggest is check to see if your bow's doing anything weird at distance. Put up the paper, make your own little square with a box, tape the paper to it, and, make the cutout, tape the paper, shoot through it. See if the tear looks really bad. If you're shooting and that tear is like this long sideways, it's because your arrow's flying sideways.
Mm-hmm.
You got to take that to the shop and have it looked at. If you got a small tear, it happens. Above all, remember one thing. Regardless of what any company says, broadheads do not fly like field tips. They don't. I don't care what you're drinking, what you're smoking. It doesn't happen. Now, mechanicals are going to be close. Not exactly, because the format's different. Remember, you're dealing with a longer shape most of the time, not just a short bullet. So the aerodynamics will be slightly off. But nonetheless, if you're dealing with fixed blades, you damn skippy, they're going to be different. So you have to make sure that you tune the bow for that. There's lots of different videos on how to do it. I've described it on multiple podcasts, how to tune a broadhead. I am not getting into that here. Because if you're tuning for fixed blades, you should have been doing that since like June. Because it takes a lot of getting used to shoot that. If it comes down to it, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but there are people who are going to shoot fixed blades anyway and not listen to me. So if it comes down to it, just sight in with the fixed blades. Sight in with those. Forget about trying to get them to match your field points. Shoot fixed blades. Get 3 of the same type. Shoot in with them. Just shoot 1 arrow at a time at the target. Go retrieve it, shoot it again. Go retrieve it, shoot it again. As long as they're basically the same weight, they're all going to hit the same, and then you're sighted in. Because if you're trying to do the thing, well, I want my field tips to match my broadheads, good luck trying to do that in the last rush of the last minute. It doesn't work. It's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of mistakes that can be made, and it's really meant for shooting longer distances. I could get into what to look at for the flight of the arrow, what to look at for. Use your head. If it don't sound right, something's wrong with it. If it don't fly right, like you shoot and you see it going like this instead of just going straight, there's something wrong. And you would be surprised how many times I see people at the range, and it's perfectly normal for them to shoot, and I can hear their arrow going from a mile away. And then when I look at the flight behind them, I literally see the arrow doing this as it spins. And sometimes they'll make a weird sound, but they're not paying any attention to it. These things are little clues that something is definitely wrong. That's when you bring an offering to Jonathan and say, please, please help me with this. And after he's done laughing for about 20 to 25 minutes, he may consider bestowing the honor of having him try to fix it for you. Yeah, sort of, maybe.
Depends on how busy I am that day.
Yeah, if you walk into an empty shop, he's going to have time to help you. But if you walked into a shop with 25 people in there who are also panicking and say, my broadheads aren't flying right, he's going to say, that's a shame. Come back another time.
Who's next?
Exactly. Or he's going to suggest that you get some mechanical and just say, sight in on the mechanical with the dummy head and have a nice day. Bye. Because that's the closest you're going to get to trying to resolve it in that shorter period of time. It takes a lot to do. The other thing I'm going to say is this. Your effective range, and this is going to piss people off by me saying it. Your effective range is roughly half of what you practice at, no matter what people think. So if I'm practicing at 100, my responsible effective range is probably 50 in good conditions. But if I'm practicing at 20 and an animal comes out, you better pray it's going to work out right if you're not used to banging that all the time. So I tell people, once you're effective at 20, shoot at 40 from now on. And practice. This way, when the real thing comes up, if you can hit 40, 20 is a pot shot. It's easy.
Growing up, I was always told, if you want to shoot a deer at 20 yards, practice at 40. Always double it. I went a little farther, and now I'm almost 3 times, but that's me. I'm crazy.
Now, I will shoot regularly out at the field at 104, 106. I'm kind of a sadist like that. I like to shoot targets that far away. I can actually group like this at about 100, 110. And I'm not like this aiming for 25 minutes before I let it rip. Believe it or not, the longer you aim is not going to help you. If you're steady and you release, the same shot cycle you use at 10 yards is the same one for 100. It just moves a little more, and you've got to be able to calm that down. Aside from that, there's not much to it. But that does not mean if you've never shot 100, go and experiment with 100. No, you got to do it in stages. Now, the best thing about the range, if you go to see Jonathan, is he's got these targets in the back that people who have never shot 40 yards before miraculously can hit them because the target's like gigantic. So if they drop the shot, it's still in the target. It's not in the gravel. I've seen some go in the gravel, but we're not going to talk about that. But it, for the most part, will hit somewhere on that target. So the confidence is there that I'm not going to lose my arrow. I'm not going to destroy my arrow. You need that. The biggest problem with people shooting 40, 50, 60, 70 is not they're afraid that they can't do it. It's they're afraid they're going to lose a very expensive arrow. So my suggestion is, not now, but during the off season, practice with cheap arrows. Get used to flinging some out there that you're not afraid of. It's like they tell you, don't go to the casino with money you're afraid to lose. Assume you're going to lose it. So same way, don't shoot at a distance that you're afraid to lose the arrows, because the fear is the first thing that will make you screw up. So if you're worried about losing it, or as I have said on multiple podcasts, if you're just hoping to hit it, you've already lost. Don't do it. You got to know this is no different than any other shot. You're going to run your cycle, and you're going to put it out there. So that's your effective distance that we're talking about. But it leads into one other thing for practice. Practice at different distances that you have no idea what they are. A deer will not walk in at 20 yards, and if he's at 19, you can't tell him, "Excuse me, could you move back a yard, please? You're not at 20." It doesn't work. You should know what your bow does at 15, at 20, at 30 with the same pin. Just so in case he skips on you, you know what to do. So do you teach people to shoot different distances with the same pin, or you set the 3 pins and hope they don't wind up somewhere in between?
Well, I explain. I have them practice different things. So I'll have them go closer and practice aiming a little lower, go a little farther, practice a little higher. I also try to explain to them, like, if you have a 20-30 pin, um, and your target's 25, and I'll literally have them do this, split the difference. Try and just split between the two pins, aim right here. It'll be right there.
Mm-hmm. So a couple of things just to review the first part we've done about this. Number one, inspect your equipment. You have 2 eyes. You can tell if something's wrong yourself, if something doesn't look right, if it's even questionable. Bring it to the shop. Let them look at it. Inspect your arrows. Your arrow's in
Always.
good shape. Are they cracked? Is there anything wrong with it? If you hit something hard with the arrow, you should really try to bend it all the way around and rub it against your pants to see if it catches anything. All it takes is a micro fracture for the arrow to blow up on the next shot. Don't want that. Look at your peep. Look for twist. Anything like that. In your practice routines, try to simulate what you're going to be doing in real life. The worst thing I see is people who shoot on flat ground and in hunting season are up in the stand. It is not the same at all, because most people drop their front arm when they're shooting, and this is not the same as this at all. The angle's different. You'll wind up shooting high most of the time, or you'll wind up shooting drastically low. So simulate it. If you've never shot from a tree stand, opening day is not the time to shoot your first time from a tree stand. It's a bad idea. If you don't have first of all, don't even get me started. If you don't have a tree stand to practice from, then at the very least, I can't believe I'm going to say this, at the very least, with someone watching you, sit on like a 4-foot ladder and practice just standing on the ladder or sitting on it.
Or better yet, just come to my shop. We got something in the back. We got set up. Just come to the shop.
Because ranges that I'm familiar with, actually, they don't let people use real tree stands. They have platforms that are built up high, and you can shoot down without, and they still have you use a safety harness, so they're afraid of you falling off.
We have a tree stand up on the hill in the back, and we make you use a safety harness. But you're at least you're shooting from a tree stand. It's good practice.
It works. You need to practice. And for those of you who somehow believe shooting downhill is the only problem, shooting uphill from a tree stand is also a problem. So you need to practice that, because there's one thing. Take your rangefinder when you get into the stand and just range around you, especially if you're with your back to a hillside, because if he comes from behind you, he's at eye level. So he might be 20 yards away, but he's dead straight out at 20 yards. Then you can shoot straight. But if he's down by the edge of the tree, he's not 20 yards away, and you got to know how to aim at that. Same way, if you're down low and he comes up on a hill, first of all, they're going to tell you most hunting classes, don't shoot him, because you don't know what's behind him. You're shooting at a hill, it can go right over a hill. They say that for a reason. I've had more than one arrow whiz past me like that, which is why when I go to retrieve a deer, regardless of whether or not it's on private land that I have permission to hunt or public land, I have my orange vest on. I am making purposely a lot of noise. It sounds like Dumbo the elephant walking through there. And sometimes, because I haven't hunted public land in a long time, I'm going to walk through there with a flare gun and big flags like this. I'm coming through. Don't shoot me. Because people shoot movement. Need I say more? So never assume you're the only one there.
Just saying, if you come to the archery shop on the 30th, ask me. I've got a few stories I'll tell.
and some that I
They'll
can't
skip.
say on online. But we're happy to counsel you on that sort of thing. Also, if you just bought a tree stand, practice with it before. Don't put it together the night before at home and assume that you're going to be able to do that in the dark or at all, even if it's light. It's
Yeah,
impossible.
a climber, definitely practice with. Saddle, practice with even more.
I'm not that
Yeah,
crazy. I don't go into saddles, so I'm just going to leave that one alone. And the dawning of the $75 blind has hit us. There are blinds out there that cost $75. They're worth about 10 if you ever see one of these things. But they're advertised all over Instagram. You can get this blind for $75 instead of paying $500 for this. Maybe the last one hunt. They creak, they make sounds, all kinds of weird stuff. But what I am going to say is, if you're going to hunt out of a blind, practice out of one, please. Trying to shoot out of a window as opposed to shooting when there's nothing around you, it's a big deal. Try to shoot while you're sitting is another big deal. And then I get the best one in the world, the best one. If he comes by, I'm going to get down on my knee and shoot from my knee. Do you practice from shooting from your knee? Probably not. What makes you think you're going to be any better at it? And the best thing that happens is people don't know which knee to put down and which one to keep up. And they put the knee up in front right by the bow, and guess what happens? Smack.
doesn't feel good.
My knee has got the proof that it doesn't feel good. I did that more than enough times when I was a kid. And when you're shooting an 80-pound bow and it lets go, that cam, yeah, might as well be a sledgehammer. So let's not do that. When you're in the tree, which you should do days before, unless you're doing a run and gun public hunt, look and see if there's any branches that are going to affect your shot as you're shooting. Most people miss all that. And their limbs wind up smacking a branch when they go off. Limb goes boom. Or you miss. Or both.
And by the limb, he means your bow limb, by the way, not the tree limb. They
So-
will go boom.
So you look, is there anything obstructing you in any way? Having a branch that's that big and thinking you're going to cut that out of the way in the dark or even during the day, and no one's going to notice, like the animals? Yeah. I've seen a lot of that. I've heard the weirdest sounds in there, including someone falling out of a tree because they were trying to lean over just to get that much. Your safety harness is everything to you. And I would also say this, because this is overlooked by... I used to be a hunter safety instructor. Used to. Don't ask why. Ask me at the shop. I'll be happy to tell you why. But I don't do it anymore. For reasons that are all my own. But what they don't tell you about these nice little safety harnesses and systems like that, and I wear one of the most comfortable. Okay, mine is actually a vest that I zip up and my harness is right in the back and I got 2 straps on my legs and it's all good. But what they don't tell you is that you're tethered to the tree. And the idea of trying to move around and aim while you have something pulling on back of you, it don't feel right all the time. You have to get used to it. You got to practice. And as he mentioned, the dreaded S word, saddle. If you've never used a saddle, it's one thing. If you've never shot in a saddle, it's another one entirely. You're essentially shooting sitting down, or you're shooting around a tree. I'm not saying I've never used one. I did it once, twice, not in a hunting situation, for demonstration purposes. I smiled. I gave it back to the person who gave it to me, the manufacturer who tried to get me to push it on a class I was teaching. And I said, please take this back, go with God, and burn it, because I will never wear something like that again. Let's just say it pulled too hard on my britches and I wasn't really liking it and it didn't feel right. It takes getting used to. And it actually takes you being able to set it right because your tether that you have to adjust it exactly the right way. I'm talking like, Rastro or something like that, the right way. Otherwise, you're going to wind up leaning back too far. And contrary to popular opinion, you can fall out of a saddle if you're not careful. It's possible. To me, it's an oversized diaper, but with a rope on it. I'm not a fan. To each his own. People are successful with these things all the time. They make them more mobile and all that. I don't hunt out of tree stands anymore. I use a blind. I've always used a blind. Who cares? I use one of the older blinds that they make. It's called a double bull. They don't even have that company anymore, I don't think. But I get in one of those things and I can sit there the entire day. But I know that my window is set, so if I have to shoot down a hill, I can shoot down a hill. If I have to shoot up a hill, I can shoot up a hill. And as have happened sometimes, be prepared when you're in a blind for the unexpected. If you're quiet enough and suddenly the sun is blocked out from your blind, it might not be a solar eclipse. You look to your left through one of the little windows, and I've just had the brown blocking it out because I had a deer about a foot away from the window. And the girl that I was hunting with, that I was teaching, all I said was, I looked. She's like, where do I aim? I said, just put the whole rack of pins right on the middle of the window and let her rip. It was a yard away from the deer. At that point, I could have knocked them out with a sledgehammer. And she got it. Don't get me wrong, but you have to be prepared for these sort of things because they will happen. What we're trying to say is the strangest things that you never expect to happen will happen to you. So if you practice, you can be prepared for it. Okay? Practice. Simple. If you've got a shooting line, now mind you, don't do this at a range because people get upset if you do this sometimes, unless you announce that you're going to do this. Put your heels on the line and practice turning all the way around, lifting up and shooting. It's shooting behind you. Your body's still twisted, but you can still keep your form. And I'm going to mention something which is going to upset some people. When you're on, so Jonathan, if you see somebody shooting at the range and they're shooting on the line, do you see anything different when they're shooting from a tree stand or something?
Besides their shoulders?
No, there's a reason why I'm asking this. And this is what I'm saying.
Their feet.
Yeah.
Their feet, yeah.
Yeah. When I was a kid, Lincoln was president, all that good stuff. You would see bow hunters practice, and by the way, this is the wrong way to practice, but their feet were like this, way together, when they're standing on the line. Worst balance I've ever seen, and they'd be going like this. But the reason why they did that, because if you saw the original lock-on stands that they had, the platforms were only yay big. So where were you realistically going to stand? You had your feet together.
Or before you could buy a stand, you most of the time just put a 2x4 between two trees. Or in the crotch of a tree. Yeah.
If you've hunted in upstate New York, you will still see the remnants of what we call the condos in the sky, where people built all these things up there. They're not meant for bow hunting. Those are gun hunting stands. I mean, back in the day, they had heaters and windows and this and that. And you look up there and it's like somebody built a condo in between two trees. That's not for bow hunting. But that's also not safe because they don't last from one year to the next. So that's why they went to these portable stands that you can remove or leave up there. If your stand has been hanging for a year, don't go jumping on it. Just take it down, check it, retie it, and set it back up there. Another thing you should practice is getting into and out of the stand with your bow. Trick question, should they get into the stand with their bow?
They shouldn't climb their stand with a bow.
Thank you. There's a lot of people out there who try to climb into their stand with their bow around their back. The famous one is it around their neck with the broadheads like a quarter inch away from their jugular. Things like that. Safety line. Drop it down. Your bow is already tied to it. Pull it up. This way, your bow doesn't have a chance of falling out and damaging something, and you going with it. The other thing is, if you tie it to a safety line, you can watch it. You can make sure it doesn't slam against the tree. Don't pull it up violently. Just carefully pull it up. They even have some systems where you can just wind it like this and let it come up. This is not a crossbow podcast, but I'm going to tell you, if you're hunting with a crossbow, same precautions apply.
But also,
yeah.
Also, if you are hunting with a crossbow, don't pull it up while it's loaded. Please, don't pull it up while it's loaded.
And not with the stock down, pointing up at you.
Yes. If you're gonna do it with it loaded, stock up, okay? Because that's a loaded gun pointed at you.
You're still not supposed to do that anyway. They have anti-fire systems, so you take the bolt out, it's cocked, pull it up, place the bolt back in, you're good to go. You don't shoot anything. Don't try to unload it up there. Take the bolt out, lower it down. You can decock it when you get to the bottom, or if it's not one of those bows that doesn't have a decocking mechanism, you can shoot it at the ground or at a discharge target, whatever makes you happy. But don't pull it up facing you with a bolt in it.
Especially loaded.
I'm going to say this. The same people that we're talking to are probably the ones who will pull up a shotgun loaded into a tree stand pointing at you.
Barrel up.
Yeah, let's just not do that. It's not safe. It's not smart. There are accidents every year for the dumbest reasons in the world. We're not trying to make fun of someone who may have had an accident in the past, but we're telling you, these things that sound comical to you, people do them every single day. And believe it or not, it's not new people. It's people who have been hunting for years because they've gotten away with stupidity for so long, they never think it's going to come back and bite them in the rear. And eventually it does. It'll catch up to you. There's a way of things just evening themselves out. And this is not something that you want to even out at your own expense. Okay? One other thing I'm going to say, because we touched on arrows before, checking them. If you're shooting broadheads, check them to see if they're tight. You know how many people's broadheads are just like loose? If you're shooting mechanicals, my suggestion, take your quiver off and carry it with you, not necessarily connected to the bow. The biggest problem in mechanicals, depending on what system it is, and there's so many different systems, some have collars, some have rubber bands, some have God only knows what. They all seem to open at the worst times. So you can't shoot a mechanical if it's already deployed. You just can't. It won't fly right. So if your mechanical is already deployed, or if you pull it out, draw back and you see a blade fall sideways, let it down, take another arrow where it hasn't deployed and put it back in. I'm going to say this for the benefit of all those of you who shoot the beast broadhead, because I shoot them too when I'm lazy and don't want to shoot fixed blades. It's one of the best broadheads ever made. However, there is a reason why it comes with these little thumb pads made out of like chainmail. You cannot close those blades with your bare hands. You will literally slice your finger down to the bone. I know 2 or 3 people who've already done it. Okay? They don't have a locking system. They just click in place. But it takes so much pressure to get them to close, you will literally mangle your fingers trying to do it. So they send you with this thing and they're already closed when you get them. Don't try to do it on the fly. That's all I'm going to say. All I'm going to say. And the number one problem I would suggest to everyone, practice loading your bow with a broadhead in it, whether it's mechanical or fixed. Jonathan, do you know why I'm saying that?
Yeah, exactly why. Because I see way too many people trying to weave their arrow through the strings, and if you have a broadhead on it, say goodbye to the said strings and cables.
They nick their cables, they cut their strings, they do all kinds of weird stuff. Normally, I just got to take a look at somebody's bow if it's a hunting bow and I can tell if they're one of these characters because there's scratches all over the bow. When you're calm, you can practice and you can make it habit. But when you're nervous and you're trying to load at the same time, that's really going to be a challenge. I don't care how many times you've ever done it, let alone trying to do it in the dark. That's bad. Last thing that we'll get to here, because we're already at 45 minutes, is practice in the same clothing you're going to hunt in. If you're shooting in shorts and a t-shirt, do you really think it's going to be the same shooting in a heavy jacket when the winter months start to come? It's not. Even your draw length feels different. Plus, try to draw when you're cold and stiff. It's really hard. So if you're not practicing the exact same way, you'll pay for it. Do you practice in your hunting clothes every now and then, Jonathan, or no?
Yes. It sucks during the summer, but I know I got to do it, so I do it. One thing I actually tell a lot of kids, because I work with a lot of kids, and they're always like, "Hey, coach, can you up my poundage? Can you up my poundage?" I'm like, "No." I'll tell you what, if you can do this, you can, and I think I got it from you, Angel. Draw with an arrow, point it at a target, and control letdown. If you can do it 30 times, then I'll give you a turn.
Exactly. And if you're going to shoot from a tree stand or from a blind, seated, try shooting with your legs off the ground while you shoot. Because then you're using your muscles to pull back and not trying to yank it back with the full force of a twist. And there's a lot of people who pull that way. They pull off balance all the time. You do that when you're in a tree stand, you can fall right out of the tree. It happens all the time. So controlled, you don't make noise. And if you're able to let down, you're good to go. I tell people if you want a simple training routine, 30 shots a day at a minimum, quality shots. Practice shooting, aim, let down. Draw, aim, shoot. Next one. Draw, aim, let down. Get it into your head that you can let down. If you're one of these people that when you let down has to go like this, you're hearing, okay, I'm gonna let down, and you feel yourself getting ripped right back to the bow, you're not in control of it.
Nope.
And there's a way to do it. You have to keep all the force and slowly allow yourself to collapse. And then it'll draw it back in, because the great thing about bows with like 90% let off, they're a dream once they crank over that valley and then they're there. But they're a nightmare to get to go down. And believe it or not, when some people are trying to let those high let off bows, let them down, they derail. Because what they do is they twist and they come right off the cam. So unless you want to ruin a hunt, practice that. You got to be able to practice and let down. The worst thing I ever hear, and I hear it from people all the time, I drew back and I shot that deer because I was already drawn back. It wasn't the one I wanted to shoot. It was a spike, and there was a 9-pointer that I was waiting for, but I thought it was him. I drew back like this, and I let it go because I couldn't let down. Well, first of all, I hope that that spike was legal where you were shooting. And if it wasn't, well, you have some explaining to do. But you didn't have the discipline to actually let down and let it go. You have to have that kind of discipline. So,
and it's okay to let down. It's not, you don't have to shoot every time you draw. I will literally drill this with the kids I work with. I'll literally tell them all to draw, and they have to listen, because a lot of these kids I work with are in competitions and stuff. And there are times there's emergencies on the line, and when that whistle goes off 5 times, you have to let down and take your arrow off. If you fire, you're in trouble. And so I will test them. I'll tell them, maybe I'll say fire, maybe I won't. And if they fire, it's a check on their mark, and they have to listen. But they also have to know it's okay to let down.
And the absolute last thing I'm going to say is this. Preparation, everything in the world, is not going to prepare you for that moment when it happens and you get the jitters from seeing something live in front of you. But the worst thing that can happen is you get to the stand, you get up there, you're ready to go, and you feel in your pockets and you don't have your release. Okay? I suggest take all your stuff, go through a checklist, make sure you have your release, make sure you have quiver, make sure you have arrows. I know people who forget the arrows.
With broadheads.
With broadheads. Don't get me started. You have your arrows, you have your quiver, you have a release. If you have a backup release, keep one in the bag. You have whatever you need so that you can get through that hunt and so that it's all in one place so you can load it into the car or whatever. The worst thing to do is I'm leaving to the hunt at 4:30 in the morning. I get up at 4:15 and start looking for my stuff. You're going to forget something. It's that simple. So practice routines. Like I said, check your bow, 25 or 30 shots. So let ups, let downs, shoot at the same type of target. So shoot either a 3D target that's not marked or a blank piece of paper trying to shoot the center of it. You'll have enough to prepare, and if something is wrong, take it to the shop. So that's what we're going to do about practice routines this week. Now, again, just to remind everybody, Sunday, August 30th. What time do you open on Sunday?
12.
12 o'clock they open. Get down there. We'll do some sight tapes for a couple hours. I'll be there. Jonathan will help you also if you have questions about your form, whatever. Be aware. A lot of people are going to be there because it's shop activity prior to hunting season. It's the 30th.
And that's what I was going to say. That was the last thing I was going to say was, listen, we are absolutely slammed at all pro shops right now. So just please try to be understanding. We are doing the best we can. We will get to you when we can. And if it takes an hour or two, just try to be understanding. We're doing the best we can this time of year.
Grin and bear it, and you'll get through it.
This is also why we told you back in, April. Come to the shops now.
And this will make this is at least the third one or the fourth one that I've done with the lab radar over there now.
Yeah, this is the third event. Yep.
Yeah. You've had plenty of time to come until now, but if it's the last minute and you really need it, then call ahead. Let us know you're coming, because then if I have to stay there later, I can make arrangements to do so. I don't exactly live around the corner. I don't. And it's a Sunday. So I have things to do on Monday. That's why I generally go there on Saturday. But Saturday, right before hunting season, we couldn't even try to do this. So we're doing it on a Sunday. And if it's merciful and there's no rain, we'll be okay. But you know what? Even if there's rain, we can probably do it because we got that nice little overhang tent that we got. And we have the indoor range to get sighted at 20. Let us know. Email me. Call the shop.
Email me. Whatever.
Send a message on Instagram. Whatever. Let us know you're coming. Give us an idea. Because when I set my schedule and I say, I am going to be there from 12 to 3:30 or 12 till 4, I mean I'm going to be there from 12 to 4. You'll just see the dust settling of when I leave. And it's nothing personal. But you try driving in 3 hours of traffic that you could have been done in an hour and 10 minutes. Or 3 hours of traffic before I hit the bridge, and then it takes me an hour and 10 minutes to cross the bridge. But I digress. If y'all are from New York, you know what I'm talking about. I don't need to say anything else. Anybody who wants to come down, you'll let us know. I'll have some of these with me, of course. I got to bring Jonathan his own supply of them because he was nice enough to give his to somebody else the last time. I didn't forget about that.
It's just not like happening again, just saying. Yep, I'm keeping mine this time.
He's not sacrificing his own again. I get it. I've given away a few of them now. So, like I said, I'll have those down there. They're not for sale for the 19th.
In all honesty, I probably will. Just saying.
Just don't.
But I'll try not
to. But yeah. So that'll do it. New hardware that I had to get. Different internet connection. We're stable. We made it through a whole episode.
Woo-woo.
The door did open.
The door did open. It was the cat. I saw the cat, though. You're
You
good.
saw her.
I saw your cat. You're fine.
The lights did not fall on me. So
that's a good one. That's a good thing this time.
Yeah. They didn't fall on me this time, which is wonderful. I left that in that episode, by the way. If you watch it, I think it was 17. If you watch the whole thing, you can actually see this thing like just collapse on me.
Just wait till the 18 and 19 come out. It looks like a badly dubbed Japanese movie. Hopefully he fixed that. I don't know yet, because I haven't seen it either.
Now you see, now I'm going to have to put a snippet of Godzilla in there somewhere. You know what I mean? You know what?
It could work. Why not?
Folks, episode 19 will feature me with my headphones, and in Jonathan's place will be Godzilla in his shirt wearing headphones with the Viking hair.
There we go.
That's all I can say. So we'll get those 2 episodes up this week. This one will be up this week. Of course, you know this one is up because you're listening to it right now or watching it, whatever. So that makes no point to tell you it's going to be up this week because you're listening to it already. But whatever. It's been a rough week, people. That's all I'm going to say. But like I said, on the 30th, be sure to contact me at highpowerarchery@gmail.com or on my Instagram, Jonathan's Instagram. His contact info for the shop and his Instagram is included with every video and podcast. You might see this on YouTube because I post every episode on YouTube as well. So if you want to watch it on YouTube, you can do there. You can watch it on Spotify. You can catch snippets on Instagram. If you subscribe to High Power Archery, you'll get little snippets I take of these episodes, and people seem to really like them because they only listen to the parts that they wanted to see. The same shorts are also listed on YouTube, and you can pick what you want. So you don't have to listen to this whole thing. And if you wanted just to see the snippets of the ghostly door that opens or a light crashing on me, you can pick out that part of it too. It's all there through the miracle of AI and editing. And yeah. So, any other comments, Jonathan?
That is all.
We made it through the episode. My connection is stable. My laptop is not burning. And that's all I'll say. So, like we say, it's never goodbye. It's always until we see you again. And we hope to see you on the 30th. So until then, stay safe and shoot straight. We'll see you next time.
Later, folks.